We're monitoring developments in Plateau State after the collapse of a school building in Jos killed at least 20 persons. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency, Zubaida Umar, is seeking strict compliance to the building codes. She commended residents for their swift response. TVC News senior reporter Phonom Joshua reports.
The unity and oneness shown by residents of Jos following the collapse of Saint Academy in the Busabuji community is now the talk of the day in Jos. Irrespective of religious differences, residents troop out in their numbers, showing their support for the victims. The call for blood donation was adhered to by residents who willingly yielded and gave their all. The Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency has now joined the list of government officials who have visited the site. Shortly after the visit to the scene, the DG NEMA proceeded to the hospital to see the victims who are receiving medical attention. On a condolence visit to the state governor, the DG sympathizes with the government and people of the state over the unfortunate incident.
And this is what we want to see from states. We need more of what we have seen in Plateau State. As I always say, disaster is local. You need community resilience, you need involvement of each and every person. NEMA comes in where the SEMA is unable to meet up. And that is the whole purpose. And what we've seen on display today is the perfect synergy between NEMA and SEMA, and that was how we're able to limit the damage, as you can see.
If you inspected the site, you will discover that there was a big gully behind the school. And even houses are built on the edge of the gully. And so this has shown us again that we need to revisit our building codes. We will need to put in place and upgrade our building codes. People cannot just build anywhere, especially within the city center.
The NEMA leadership assures the state government of its support for the victims as it launches an investigation to determine the cause of the disaster. Phonom Joshua, TVC News, Jos.
Well, let's bring in senior reporter Phonom Joshua, who has been monitoring this development. It's good to have you join us on TVC News and talk to us about what the latest is. We see that the Director General of the National Emergency Management Agency was in Jos today. Talk to us about what she said about the strict compliance to building codes.
Yeah, thank you very much. She was there, like you said, she was here in Jos to see for herself the situation at the site of the building collapse. Of course, she first and foremost commended the residents of Plateau State for the unity shown when they came out to render their support in different ways towards the safety of these victims there. But then another thing that she stressed there is like you made mention, as the state government said, they are also setting a high power committee to see the cause of this unfortunate at that side. Also, the minister, the DG NEMA stressed on that as well, the collaboration to see the cause of this and also to make sure that such, does not occur in the state as well as other places. But then they also talk about owners of schools, like the committee the state government is setting. They are going to move around to see, most of the schools, both the private and this government owns, they have to go to test all the structures there to see those that will pass the integrity test, because they are taking a serious major steps towards that. Those that will not pass the integrity test, like they said, they are going to demolish them. So this government said this time around they are not going to take it lightly with faulters in that regard.
But talk to us, what's the status of the 132, at least 132 persons that were injured after the school collapse? Any news about them being released or discharged from the hospital?
Yes. Yesterday we were there with the state government and we've seen some of them. But then today when she went around the school, the sick bay, we've seen so many of them, in discharge. And it's only a few of them that are still at some of the facilities we went around. And the medical, management also confirmed that, there is great improvement from some of them. That is why they have to discharge them. So far, the government has taken care of the bills, and then we've seen, like I said, great improvement. And hopefully, the CMD said, hopefully within the week, many of them will be discharged. So there is great improvement in that regard.
Senior reporter Funam Joshua there for us, giving us an update on the building that collapsed in Jos. And that building collapse killed at least 20 persons on Friday.